Right, so let's have a roundup of this week. Right, and without further ado, this is a late catch up of last week's antics and bits and pieces that went on. Hopefully, I am going to insert somewhere in the video, I'll just randomly say it, a montage of some tidying up and clearing out the sheds. Things have been rearranged in here since then, but that's going to be for this week's video. Time recording is a bit late. Not because I didn't find the time. I did have the time for my pickups, the trade-ins, and also for a few bits and pieces that I'm selling. And I recorded all of that. But unfortunately, the way I chose to do it and set it all up, I later watched it all, and you either couldn't hear me properly, couldn't see the item properly because it is a little bit out of shot, or a bit of both, basically. I think a lot of people do it this way, so that I can see what I'm recording, I'm in the frame, and I can pick up and just show you what I got. And that's probably going to be the easiest way to do it. So let's do that. A little bit of a rush this morning, as ever. I've managed to scramble together a small little CEX trading pile. Unfortunately, it's just gone 9. It probably means there's going to be a queue of idiots like me trying to trade stuff in, blocking up all the tills. One DualShock 2. I'm not sure about that one. It should work, but I haven't tested it recently as far as I'm aware. And 2 DualShock 3s that do work and even haven't got enough battery to turn on. I want to say these are now gone down to such DualShock 3s. I think they're 16 each on voucher. I think a DualShock 2 is 12. Handful of games. I've got that Tomb Raider collection. I've got like a best of Just Dance that I picked up in charity shops for £1. And then I've just got a few little ones I'm expecting to get 80p to £1 or £1.64. Hopefully that comes to about 42 if they take everything. Anyway, I'll catch you later and we'll go through the receipt, assuming that they take anything. They should do, hopefully. See you later. And we're back in the car again. Pretty successful trip. In terms of the trade-ins, I accidentally put a fake DualShock 2 in there. It was curled around, so I couldn't see that it didn't actually say Sony on the front. So I didn't take that, but I actually came out with more than I thought I would, because I'd shoved a handful of games. I knew the Tomb Raider was a 6 trade-in, but I'd assumed the rest are all around £1. And the DualShock 3s are 16 each. I thought I'd come out with about 40, assuming they took them. They took everything else, but I came out with a 48.60 total. They tested them, but I'm not worried about that because I knew the DualShock 3s were good. No rattles, barcodes, no damage, perfect. Yeah, so a little bit more voucher than I thought. I went into the local kind of like a pawn shop type thing. Nothing new in there, didn't get anything whatsoever. They have got a PlayStation VR 2 and the original. I think they wanted 70 for the revision 2. It did say it came with the camera, but as far as I'm aware, no box or anything. So I think CEX sell that for 50 and the camera's 50 anyways, 15, so it's actually 65 even if you went there and bought it outright. So that was more expensive. Sometimes this kind of pawn shop is more expensive. Like I look at the Switch games like $19.99 or Xbox One games are like $9.99. Occasionally they put out some of the older stuff like Wii's or whatever. Sometimes they'll be like 99p just to kind of get them gone. But good little place, good staff there. Weird smell, obviously. I went into trash converters. Obviously, they don't open until 10 past 10. Completely normal for them. Again, good staff in there, thankfully. I did have to wait around for someone to go and open a cabinet because in my cash converters, all the games, consoles and everything are all in a locked cabinet. There's no loose games or anything anymore. A lot of them used to be, the old games at least, were all loose. PS3, 360, all that kind of stuff. But they're not anymore, so you have to ask a member of staff, and obviously they're also on the till or helping other people. And because they opened 10 minutes after they're supposed to, there was a queue of about 4 or 5 people waiting to go in. So that's always good. But I did get a few things in there actually. We'll look at them when I get back later on today sometime. No massive standout wins, something that I do need to check quickly because I need to get in the box and actually check it. Did spend a little bit of money. I broke one of my rules a little bit. I picked up, and it hopefully all good, because again I wasn't able to look at the disc. Forza 7 on Xbox One. CEX still charge 12 for that, and they give 8 voucher. I picked up for $4.99. I think it was $4.99, yeah. It should be all good. And assuming it is, I've played a lot of that game. I won't keep it just so I can move on to more games. But I'm happy to put that £5 towards an £8 voucher, I guess. It's meaningless, really. It just made me feel like I got something. And we'll check those out later. I had to rush out, essentially, because I was suddenly told, next to a non-existent forward planning, my wife now wants to go out, and her mum's going to go with her, and she's going to take one of the kids with her, and they're going to go to IKEA, which is not close. I'm in Gloucestershire, but IKEA's in Bristol. So good luck on a Saturday midday going there without actually just getting there first thing or going last thing in the day. So I do not envy them for that, and see you later. So hopefully you've just seen a clip where I think I was driving home, and basically CEX took everything that I took in, apart from a fake DualShock 2 controller. That's on me. The cord was wrapped around the middle, and I couldn't see that it didn't have Sony on it or anything like that, so that's absolutely fine. I've taken that before, and they didn't want to take it, despite the fact that it was fine, because it was an imitation, it was a fake. You know, it's obvious usually when it's an official third-party controller, or it's a real one, where this was trying to be an imitation, and they didn't want to take that, and that's absolutely fair. No argument there from me. And I want to say that we came away with around £48 voucher, and in my next video, which I've already got a pile of more things to trade in, I'll tot up the voucher that we do have, and then the expected, and that's something that I'll start showing on screen. So because this is a re-recording several days later, a lot's happened since then in terms of moving things around, trying to put things in their places, deciding whether it's going to go in a trade pile, whether I'm going to sell some bits of existing. I might not have everything to hand, so I'm going to try and do my best to sum things up. Let's start with the few bits that I picked up from town at the weekend. So first off, I think I got some footage of this in the videos that I was trying to take in the store, which is still a completely new concept to me, so excuse that if it's just very short little clips, because it's still a very self-conscious thing for me to whip my camera out and just start trying to record. Obviously, if I get a cool camera that I can just hold and I can move it around for my fun, that'd be awesome. So we picked up Killzone 2 PS3 and Skyrim PS3, not just because of those games, but because they're essentials. This is a £1 game, and this is a £1.50 game, and that's the legendary edition of Skyrim. Ultimately, you can play it on a number of re-releases and remasters and God knows what at this point, and it's going to be a better version of it. But it was nice that I was able to pick up the essentials for my collection for literally £2.50 cash, which is crazy. I put these here to see if I actually need to flip the image. I'm not sure if I do. And the member of staff which I'm used to dealing with said, I'll try and make sure I find the essential disc for you, because they're perfectly used to that. Perfect. That's the point that I'm at now. There's only, I only deal with 2 to 3 of the staff normally. There was someone new the other week, someone that I think might only be kind of weekdays. There's a guy that's sometimes in there, but the 2 that I usually deal with are pretty much always there at the weekend, and they just know at this point. It's always a bit too busy for me to start chatting away, but it is what it is. Right, 2 Wii remotes. I went to Cash Converters and they had these in a bag. £11.99 for a pair. I asked to see them. In my cash converters, everything's behind a locked cabinet, so you have to go and ask someone. There's a queue. I was starting to get to the point where I needed to get back, or at least I got a text saying, can you come back? We need to go for an IKEA trip. Great. And so what they did, they're more than happy to help, really friendly staff. Got it out and just let me have a look, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but one of them is a little bit iffy, because essentially, from my experience at least with Wii remotes, if you put the battery in and it starts flashing, there's never anything else wrong with it. It will just work. I do need to test the ones that I've picked up. And here's another one, and it looks absolutely fine. I believe they're all official, so if they're not, it's because they're imitations rather than third party. Unfortunately, one of them doesn't work, and by that means I have put batteries in and they start flashing. One of them doesn't whatsoever. At that point, it's dead. It's a no-go. And the other ones I picked up, they start flashing. I do need to get a console out and test them. But in my experience, if they start flashing, they're working controllers. They're much easier. They're very robust. Much easier than a DualShock or an Xbox controller, whereby that's the first hurdle, getting them to turn on or connect. The next bit is whether every single button works. I've never had a Wii controller where if it turns on, there's a button that doesn't work. It might need a clean if it's got a sticky button, but other than that, that's it. So one non-working one and on one working one, they're £10 vouchers, so I bought both of them for £11.99. Yes, that means I'm out of pocket really. I thought these had gone up a little bit on eBay or voucher maybe, because it's been like that for a long time. They haven't. Still £10 vouchers seem to still go for maybe £12 on eBay. If you've got a Motion Plus attachment, or you sell it with the Joy-Con as well, all complete, then yes, you can start looking at 15 to 20. I think I'm down on Joy-Cons. I swear I've only got 1 or 2 Joy-Cons. But Wii remotes, I've probably got 5 or 6 at this point. Whether it's an anniversary edition or whether it's an in-box one or whatever it might be. That is what it is. I did pick up I think I've spoken about it already. I broke my kind of like CEX voucher ratio rule, where I'd like to double up. It's just that it's an easy metric to go by. If it's more than double up and I'm happy to put that amount of money into my CEX voucher, then I'll do it. I got Forza 7 for Xbox One, obviously, for £4.99, and it'll trade in for an £8 voucher. That's not to hand. I think that's already in the trade pile. I do already have it. I didn't think I had it because Forza 7 was quite... I probably traded it in previously. I thought I had at least, because it's always been quite expensive what it is, because for the fact that it's probably 5 or 6 years old at this point. It's just not gone down because all the further releases have been Horizons until Motorsport in the last year or two. Last thing I got at Cash Converters, this has been sat there for a couple of weeks, £7.99. And I don't know if anyone had bothered trying to get into it, because there's like 3 layers of cardboard just to see what's inside. But it's heavy enough. I've looked. I did unbox it. I'm not going to do it again. Sorry. Future episodes, I know to do it in this format rather than what I was trying to do. It is in here. £7.99 again. You probably get me back to front. And it looks absolutely fine. Doesn't look like it's dirty or damaged at all. I want to say these are usually like 20 quid if you want to pick these up. But yeah, PSVR aim controller. When compared to the PS3 controller, it's obviously nowhere near as cool, because that's much more in the style of an assault rifle type thing. That's cool. Whereas this is some sort of plastic weird contraption. But by the looks of it, everything's built into it, so there's loads of buttons on it and everything, so you don't need to put attachments in like you do with the Move ones. There's going to be an update on this week's video about VR as well, I believe. As long as everything goes through as it should, and everything comes as it should. So that wraps up my pickups when I went to town. Recording. I've taken my glasses off so I can't see shit. But at least I don't have to deal with me pushing my glasses up, and God, the faces I pull. That's the one thing. If I take away anything from this YouTube thing, is that I make some god-awful faces when I'm endlessly having to push my glasses up. Seriously, I'm just going to do it like this. I'm blind. I don't care that I'm blind. I'm just going to do it from this from now on. So before we jump into the bits and pieces that I've taken from my collection to sell, I will first transfer you to hopefully a montage of me trying to tidy up the desk and everything, so my wife can come in here and start putting her lovely things in here, and here it is.
The ultra weird stuff can go.
You never left the room, but phew. This is past me recording. That was past me recording because it was last week. And you're watching this whenever it goes live, which is in the future for me. So there's definitely some sort of form of inception going on. But whilst I was doing that, I took some pieces down and decided to sell them. Now, I've not got everything to hand. When I sell things, I usually deal with either Vinted or eBay. And I put, first off, I might be able to insert a sold, because I've sold one thing since the 3 or 4 days that it's been listed. Insert it there. This should be a Pokemon Sword and Shield Elite Trainer box. I think I bought it brand new, obviously sealed, 35 quid maybe, about 30, 35 quid. And I was going, you know, I was just on a little focus of Pokemon cards. Yeah, I want to get some cards. Let's see if we get any pulls. And I think I looked at the list of potential things that you can get, and I just wasn't interested in them. And, you know, my Pokemon is Kanto 151 Pokemon, and that's it. All this recent stuff, there's so much less love because I don't watch any of the media or anything like that. I'm less involved with it. It's been a while since I played like Pokemon Go and all that kind of stuff. So it sat there. And then if you're not going to open it, it was then a case of, well, I'll leave it sealed. And maybe I'll start doing that. I'll pick up new stuff when it comes out. I'll leave it sealed, put it somewhere really safe, so it's not going to get damaged or deteriorate. And then in 5, 10, 15 years, whatever it might be, I'll dig it all out again. It's going to be incredibly sought after, and I'm going to be able to seal it, or it will be sealed, and I'll be able to sell it for incredible sums. You know, how the original stuff, I've got so much like FOMO from. I'm pretty sure my mum just got rid of all my Pokemon cards. Like, I did not have a big collection, but that was a big bit of my week. Every Saturday morning, whatever it was, she'd drop me off at like the local virtual games or whatever it might be, and I'd pick up like a jungle booster. It was cool. That was the 90s kind of thing, you know. It was amazing. So yeah, I sold that for about 30 quid or so plus postage. So that's good. That's a bit of money back in the kissy, which will fund, or in a roundabout way, fund the things that's been going on in here already, but a future video. The next thing is I've got a duplicate, which is why I'm selling it. Everything else is still listed. Tiberian Sun, or Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun big box PC, came out 99 or so. Massive amount of nostalgia for me. I used to play this on the PC. This is my first Command & Conquer I ever played. Fantastic game, brilliant. And yeah, I had a duplicate. I got both of them on eBay relatively cheap. I won an auction and one, and the other one was cheap, and it came with the expansion. This one came with the expansion, also big box. So I'm getting rid of the duplicate. Whatever else is what else is on eBay? There's a Command & Conquer Worldwide Warfare cardboard booklet. Now it's got like 8 discs in there, loads of games, but it came in a cardboard booklet type of thing where it folds out a little bit. And obviously where it's been like that, it's very worn. Again, it was from like 1990, 2000 or so. That was a CEX lottery for a fiver, and I thought that's worth it. So I got that. It turned up a bit tatty. I didn't have a clue how it would come because I don't think there was a picture on there. And I was a bit like, ugh, I've had it on the shelf for a year. It's still a really cool item, but ultimately I can't display all my stuff. I've never played any of those games, and I've got these other ones anyway, so I'm selling that. There's only a handful of things. I forgot what the hell the rest are. So I might be able to put some little screenshots in, and I'll put a little bit of time here just to say, and here's the other things if I'm selling anything else. And finally, to wrap up last week, on Sunday, I went onto Vinted. So in the last week or so, I've been on Vinted here and there, and you can endlessly doom scroll, or endlessly try and refresh to see if you can be the first to get something incredibly cheaply. I did actually pick up a bundle of, I think it was about 5 or 6 PS4 games, and it had been there for a few minutes, good 5 minutes or so, and I know why no one had picked them up. There's an image of Skyrim, and it was £10, which is, I think, roughly what Skyrim is. However, the title said PS4 bundle, so if you click on it, every picture was a different PS4 game, and there was Skyrim, Shadow of War, Dragon Ball, Battlefield. Anyway, there's like 5 games, and basically they would have been worth £25 trade-in value, let alone if it was a resale value or anything. So all the resellers there, which usually grab stuff in like 20 seconds on Vinted, they just hadn't bothered clicking on it. And this was like in an evening. It's not at an obscure time when people wouldn't be on there that do this kind of thing. So it probably would have been £30 or £40 value out of a £13 order. So I'm like, click. I went on CEX. I had time to go on the CEX app for all of them to see what they would trade for and to see if that was worth it on my metric. So the order was £13.69, and it would be a £25 trade voucher, which I was willing to do, nearly double. And 5 minutes later, they cancelled it. So I was like, great, I know exactly what you've done. I then went on their profile and they'd relisted it for £30, and the description had been updated. They didn't message me whatsoever, just cancelled it. So they never do. This kind of happens about 5 to 10% of the time with Vinted, I'd say. Some people will just relist higher and higher and higher until someone won't buy it, and then they'll just put it down to the previous one that it did sell, and they'll just mess people around, and I don't like it. I've paid for these items, you know, the money's gone out of my account. I've paid for the postage, where I want it delivered, and I think bit of common decency not to just cancel it and just, I want to get a bit more money for that. I'm going to get a bit more money for a bit of a shit situation. Anyway, circling back, on Sunday morning there was a bundle of things, and I came across a PS3 Hogwarts, but I don't think it really comes under Hogwarts, spellbook thing, big box spellbook thing. Comes with a motion controller, the camera, a board. Basically it's a Harry Potter thing, and it's with the move controllers and all that kind of stuff, and you can do Harry Potter stuff. I've never played it, I've never watched footage of it, but I know that typically the big box with all the pieces is worth £20 to £30, and it was up for about £7. I looked at the rest of it on their wardrobe, and they had some NAF 360 games, which was all fodder. They had like some Wii controllers, and they had Alien Anthology on Blu-ray. And then I noticed that they were in the same area as me, so I shot them an offer and said, look, I can come and pick these up today if that helps. We can do it outside of the platform, or we can do it through the platform, or we can meet somewhere. Not bothered, but if we can come to an agreement, I'm happy to do that, rather than, because I would have, with the discount that it applied, I would have just bought it, but then I'd have to pay postage, and it would have taken me 2 or 3 days to get to me, and they'd have to package it all up and everything when they were in literally the same town as me. So she came back to me like an hour or so later. We agreed a deal for cash, which I already had in my wallet anyway, thankfully, so I didn't need to do anything like that. I didn't come off bank balance. I already had cash from when I did a boot sale a month ago or so, and I'll show you what I picked up there. And basically her son had told her, they're taking a game or two out of the 360 bundle. Now none of them were worth anything, but there was a couple of games that I would have liked, and it was worth that much. It said, oh, they were burnt or something like that. So they're disc burn. So I took them out, and she gave me a discount. So I got essentially 5 things for £25. So I'm going to treat it as £5 each. So the thing that we came for, that's what it's called. Book of Spells. A Wonder Book of Spells for PS3 for Move, and it shows kids doing things. But this is for my wife. It's not kids. It's for my wife. And it says it includes the book, the motion controller, the camera, and the Book of Spells, or the board. And it does. It's all in there. All good condition. The box is a bit tatty, so I'm not sure about displaying it. That's for space reasons. It's probably going to go in the loft. But if we're treating it at £5 each, which is the easiest thing to do, 25 divided by 5, £5. We'll try that now that I've got all the stuff I need to play the PS3 Move stuff. Maybe that's a bit of an illustration of what's included. And if we don't like it, or it's a bit outdated and a bit rubbish, I can just move it on. But at least I get to try it, and then in future I know that we don't want to play it. But that's what it's primarily bought for, to play. I can just move it on later. I don't know if that's something that trades. 2 Wii remotes. So I have been saying Wii remotes, plural, in here, and I basically picked up 4 in total, £5 each. And you put batteries in, they both light up. Further testing needed, but they light up. For me, it probably means they work. So these will go into the trade pile, which we'll see later in the week. The bunch of games have already been either put in the fodder pile or sorted out, and we'll look at how this place looks in another video. But suffice to say, for the £5 that I paid, I got something like 5 games, but they were all fodder apart from 2 games. I wanted Forza 4 because I don't have Forza 4, weirdly. I have 3, and they were brilliant games. So I wanted Forza 4, which is only like a £3 game, £2.50, £3. And there was Lego Clone Wars, Star Wars, Lego Clone Wars, free, which shows up. Go on the CEX app. Go on the app and see. It's either £4 or it's £18. But the £18 one doesn't have a trade-in price. I don't know what's going on there. Classics. I'm veering towards maybe picking up classics here and there. I've got about 10 now that I sorted through some stuff. I wanted those 2 games, and I think if you buy them, they are about £6 or £7. So I got my money's worth, and the rest of it was fodder. I think I got Dishonored which was a promotional disc, not promotional cover, so a bit annoying. And like Lips game, or what the hell it is, and yeah, some rubbish. But the Forza was taken out of it, so it's one of the ones that was burnt. I didn't want to mess around saying, oh, actually, can you chuck it in just in case, and I'll try it and see if it works. No, it was hard enough over several hours trying to work out. In the end, it turned out that she was going to do her weekly shop very close to my home, so she also came and delivered them to my door. So much better than potentially having to wait a week, packaging it all up, waiting for it to arrive, sort it out for a good price. She gave me a small discount because of the reason that a couple of games were taken out, and they were the least thing that I was interested in. So yeah, £5 for each of these. Oh, and the last thing, obviously, Alien Anthology. Now, are there any aficionados of this out there? Because there are several different Alien Blu-ray box sets that you can pick up. This style is supposedly the definitive one, maybe besides a future 4K box set release, which they're slowly doing them one by one now, I believe. I believe this is the definitive version for resolution, for special, and everything included in it, I believe. However, I already have this, so this is purely for trade. This is, if you treat everything as £5, it's a little bit less good because this is an £8 trade. I already have this, and I say that. They look identical. There's a big box and a slim one. This is clearly a slimline one, which comes in a normal case with multiple discs in. My one is a fold-out one. I'm keeping my one, so it's a little bit more. There's a little bit more theatre to it, where it folds out, and it has more images on. Whereas this is just a normal DVD case or Blu-ray case in this case. So that's how I decided to trade this one in. That'll be £8 voucher. Straight back on the pile. Now, so that was my pickups, what I'm selling, and Sunday Vinted pickups. As I said, Vinted has been dead for the week. I've not spent a lot of time on there at all, and I've not had the money to pick up something more expensive. I typically look out for things that are a lot, like a few pound. If it's a game that comes up for £2, it's worth 15 or whatever it might be. I'll try my best to do it quickly, but that's the kind of thing that'll go in 10-20 seconds. Sometimes you can sometimes you can literally refresh that page, click on it, and it'll say sold because it was just too late. Somewhere has got that list a little bit quicker than you have, and it's gone. So Vinted has been dead for me until that. And there's another thing that I've got now, and again, future video. This is how I've got to do it. I'm going to try and do a weekly roundup, or exactly like this. So I've done my pickups, what bits I am selling, I've done some tidying up, and I've done a Vinted platform pickup as well. Nothing from eBay this week, I don't think. Not that I've put in any videos. That was my second video, that was technically last week. So yeah, moving on. Basically just a quick outro, guys. Thanks for watching. If you could please like, comment, subscribe, all of the good stuff. I would really like to try and start getting some people watching this stuff. It's a lot of challenges associated with trying to start a YouTube when you've got no experience, but no idea what to do. As I've alluded to, there's a lot of stuff to come this week, and I should have some time to film that. I'm hoping to get maybe a weekend release out, whether it's a Saturday or Sunday, just to sum up this week and some more bits and pieces like that, a bit more content to come out. Thank you again. See you in the next one.